Hi, how y'all doing? It's Sunday, March 2nd. About 9:43 p.m. And this is more my regular time for recording a video. It's just usually when I think about doing it, when I get around to doing it, done my chores, dishwasher going, getting ready for bed. Thought I would drop something to keep the algorithm happy. And you can probably see me a little better. I've actually got the light on in the kitchen. I don't hardly ever do that, but I had it on because I was doing dishes and loading the dishwasher. Didn't think to turn it off yet. Good Lord, excuse me. It will be a literal miracle when this damn cough goes away. Not as bad as it was, at least. But had Joey this weekend. We had a good weekend. Didn't really do anything. We can't do anything. Can't go anywhere. Can't really do much outside. We go out and feed the useless chickens, as I call them. Got 4 hens. And bought them as chicks from Tractor Supply years ago, summer of 22, after the divorce was finalized and I was sure I'd keep the house. Joey wanted chickens. He was at the time, he was on his YouTube Kids and he was watching different farm channels, farm families with their farm animals, and kept asking me, "Daddy, can we get some chickens and some goats?" And I said, "Well, I don't know about goats." I said, "But, give me a couple months and we'll see about chickens." Chickens are cheap to purchase and they're cheap to maintain. I'd like to have some goats, but they take a little bit more work and they're a little bit more expensive to get hold of. But I've got the room. I just, don't have the money. Didn't have the money. Damn sure don't have it now. But I said, yeah, give me a couple months and we'll see about some chickens. And I was waiting, on the finalization of the divorce, on the mediation, to see whether or not I was actually going to be able to keep the house. Because, I own this property. And if I was going to be able to keep it, I got plenty of room. And I've had chickens before. So, yeah, I kept the property. And was getting on towards the end of summer. Tractor Supply still had chickens. I said, okay. I said, let's go pick you out some chickens. And we went and we got 4 Easter egger chicks. If you don't know, they're called Easter eggers because they actually tend to lay colored eggs, farm fresh eggs, unbleached, You know, the eggs are brown, and these range from brown to, you know, like a cloudy white to like a cloudy blue, and sometimes a soft creamy yellow, you know. So they look like Easter eggs. They lay pretty eggs, and if you've never had them, fresh chicken eggs are so much better than store-bought, bleached, whatever they do to them. They taste better. They have a like a richer, fuller flavor. Just everything about them is better. And you know, like I said, I've had chickens before, so I said, yeah, you know, we'll get some chickens. Something fun for us to do, for you to do, you know, and we get the benefit of farm fresh eggs. And you know, back in the day, before 9 or 10 years ago, had chickens before. We had like 5 hens and a couple roosters, and there was one mama hen, and the roosters and the other girls were her chicks. And the roosters were always pretty good about not, you know, inbreeding, so they never bred. But my folks actually gave them to us because my folks didn't have the means to care for them, and they had some neighbors that had them, and the neighbors moved away and left the damn chickens. Chickens come over to my folks because, you know, they're used to having their diet supplemented by humans and being taken care of by humans, even though they were free-ranged. My folks said, you know, we got these chickens over here and they won't leave, you know, and we can't, you know, don't have any place to put them, don't have any, you know, place to keep them, whatnot. So I went out there with a big dog crate, rounded them up, caught them, and brought them out here, and we had chickens. And so, you know, those 5 hens kept me and my wife and my younger sister in eggs every week. You know, they would usually lay anywhere from 8 or 9 to, you know, 12.5 eggs every week. So I figured, you know, Joey likes eggs sometimes, slightly. When he was a baby, he would tear them up. I would, you know, make myself an omelet, and, you know, he's a toddler. You know, I'd make myself like a cheese omelet with bacon bits and onions and peppers and mushrooms. He didn't like the mushrooms, but, you know, he'd eat everything else. And now he went through a period for a long time where he would not touch eggs. They were toxic waste in any form. But now he'll eat some scrambled eggs with cheese, but not a lot. He'll usually eat like maybe you know, a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons full before he's decided he's had enough eggs. But, you know, I can include them in his breakfast and you know, give him a nice balanced breakfast. So I figured these 4 chickens, when we got them, would, you know, keep us in eggs, you know, be enough for me, and, you know, he'd have some when he wanted them. That is not what happened. We brought these chickens home. We kept them in the house when they were babies in a actually in a huge reptile terrarium that I used to have a boa constrictor in, and so we kept them in there with a brooder lamp, and you know, they healthy as hell. They grew, and I you know, kept them here in the house, kept them warm, kept them safe. But they grew to be, you know, young hens. They weren't fully grown, but they were definitely ready to go outside. Years before, when I had chickens, I built them an enclosed chicken coop out of a Harbor Freight carport. And that took care of them for a good long time. I've got a lot of birds of prey out here. I've got a lot of hawks. They are everywhere. I in fact have a mating pair that I do so believe either lives on my property or right on my neighbor's property. Been there for years. I've got falcons. I see eagles all the time. I've got an owl that, again, lives somewhere on or very close to my property. I'm not sure what species it is, but it is absolutely monstrous. The few fleeting glimpses I've had of it, you know, when I've been outside at night, and you know, you go out there at night and listen to them. There's owls all around, and there's like all these normal owl hoots, and then there's this one bass hoot coming out of an amplifier. I mean, this thing is bordering on supernatural. It's so big. So I can't free range my chickens. I can't free range them, you know, with a coop for them to live in at night, which they usually will go inside at night on their own. But even during the day, I can't free range them because of all the birds of prey I've got out here. And when I had my chickens years ago, you know, I built them a carport, built them a coop, big coop out of a carport, and they had a little inside coop they could go into for you know, extra warmth, insulation. But they had the carport that had 1/4-inch hardware cloth chicken wire all the way around the outside edges and built onto the ends of it. And I had a door built in one end that I made. But I was a dummy. I did not think far and ahead, and I left the tarpaulin top on the carport, on the coop. I had it well secured. They couldn't get out, and no birds of prey were getting in. But I was getting ready for work one morning and heard a unusual racket out there in the chicken pen, and I went outside, and a raccoon had torn his way into the tarpaulin top, had got in there and killed 4 of my chickens. And I ran him off. He's lucky that my lead Pez dispensers were upstairs. Otherwise, I'd have had a coonskin cap for killing my chickens. But I ran him off, and I said, you know, got to do something about this. So I ended up actually breaking that thing down and building 2 completely wooden coops, because for some reason the 2 roosters survived, but after this incident they would fight like hell. And so I ended up building 2 coops, one for the surviving hen and a bigger one for the 2 roosters, but I had a partition in the middle so they couldn't get to each other. Um, and I was thinking, well, I need to do something about a bigger run, and I need some kind of a better hide. You know, the coop that I had, the coops I had thrown together was out of like uh, scrap wood, you know, some pallet wood, and was keeping the raccoons and whatnot out. But you know, I wanted something sturdier, something better. Ideally, something a little bit more, something they could go into that was up off the ground. And I was looking on Marketplace one day, and there was a guy not half a mile from me selling a little livestock trailer, little homemade livestock trailer. It's a little bitty 4x6 utility trailer, and they had built a wood frame building on it, 5.5, 6 feet high. But well, it was a little over 6 feet at the peak, because I can just stand up in it, and I'm 6'4", and I can just stand up at the peak if I climb up into it. And it's got a peaked roof with corrugated metal sheeting, and he had hog fence around it because he used it to move his hogs and his goats. And he was moving out of St. Augustine, and wasn't taking the trailer with him, so he posted it, for like $200. And there was no trouble in paradise yet. I was working, so I was like done. And I drove down there with this unbeatable little 85 Ranger that I got. Used to be my daily driver. It ended up being a project sitting in the backyard because it was a 5-speed 4-wheel drive, and it had a hydraulic clutch and slave cylinder. And I could do a dry clutch, mechanical clutch, with one eye closed and one hand. But I had never done a hydraulic clutch. I attempted it, and I could not get the clutch right. And I was going to take it to a shop, but then I was like, no, you do this stuff yourself. You don't need to go to a shop. And, Joey was little, and I was, getting more project cars, and I said, I really need a bigger truck. So I said, let me, put this thing off to the side. And I found a very reasonable 76 F350. Was being sold by a lady down in DeLand, which is about an hour, maybe a little more hour plus southwest of me. And there were a bunch of reasons why she was selling it fairly cheap, especially for what it was. It was in perfect driver shape. It had a lot of rust and a lot of cancer. I'm like, I can deal with that. I can fix that. I'm getting ready to set up an apparatus on my back property where I can, change a cab on a truck. So this is a 76 F350, 460 V8, massive engine, massive power, massive low-end torque. It'll tow anything. So I said, yeah, I'm gonna get that truck. Got that truck. I drove that truck all over. Back then gas was much more doable. And again, I was working. I still would beg for like 90 miles to a full tank in that truck, but I love that truck. So I parked the Ranger, and I ended up never finishing it. It's on the list. Me and my tangents, boy, I'll tell you. But anyway, I got this little livestock trailer. He had it wrapped in, had a good solid wood frame, 2x4 frame, metal roof. And it was wrapped in hog fence, which is like 2.5, 3-inch by 4 or 5-inch rectangles. I double wrapped it in 1/4-inch chicken wire to, keep anything out. And my plan was to use this trailer as the primary roosting point for them, and then build them a run out there on the ground, and they could, climb out of the trailer and run around and do their thing, and then I could hook the trailer up to my tractor mower and move it around the yard, and then relocate the roost, or relocate the run to give them fresh ground to stomp. I made it to a little bitty outside run, but other than that, they're just in the trailer. Before things got much more difficult, me and my long way around a short block, I'll tell you. But anyway, we got these 4 chickens. They're now senior citizen chickens, because chickens usually only live 2 to 4 years. These chickens are all over 4 years old, but they're still fat and sassy and healthy as hens. And God, can they eat. And it damn sure comes out the other end just as fast as it goes in. Good fertilizer, though, if I can ever get back to working on a garden. But anyway, I was all set and happy to have, farm fresh eggs again. These chickens do not lay eggs. I am lucky to get maybe 1 or 2 eggs a month or so. And that's it. They don't lay eggs. And I've tried all kind of things. Get my chicken feed from Tractor Supply. And there was some news stories going around the last couple of years that different brands of feed, including the ones that you could get at Tractor Supply, were either accidentally or on purposely contaminated with something that made them lay less or not at all. Getting into conspiracy theory territory there, I suppose. But awful lot of conspiracy theories turning out to be right nowadays, so who knows. And I eventually found that when I got my feed elsewhere, I got more eggs. I will also occasionally, usually once a month when I get paid, I will get them a watermelon or a honeydew melon. And I just cut it in half and give them a half, and they love that. And when I give them melon, they will lay more eggs. And I've started to think that they hold the eggs hostage in exchange for treats. It would not surprise me. So I guess since I got paid, I'm gonna go get them a melon next time I get to the store, and maybe I'll have 4 or 5 fresh eggs to have for breakfast. A couple of days here and there. So yeah, I just thought I would, talk, keep the algorithm happy, something to talk about. Got another round of eye surgery tomorrow. Knock on wood. Wish me luck. Hopefully, this time tomorrow night, I might be seeing a little bit better. I didn't notice any progress the first time around, but I have noticed some, so maybe second time around I'll see a little bit more. I'm hopeful. I'm not going to let it get me down if I don't, because I am having progress, so we'll get there. Hope you all had a great weekend, and hope this coming week is good to y'all. And I'll probably post again tomorrow for an after surgery update if there is anything to update. Otherwise, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow or the next day. Have a good night. Bye-bye.